You booked the trip, you packed the bags, you told yourself this time Vegas was going to be different. But the moment you hand over that credit card at the front desk, the trap snaps shut. What looked like a $100 room on your screen is now $160 after fees. The parking cost you $50. The mini fridge charged you $15 for a bottle of water you did not even open. And somewhere in a boardroom high above the strip, a corporate executive is looking at a spreadsheet with your name on it. Not as a guest, but as a revenue unit. This is not bad luck. This is by design. Hi, my name is Michael, and this is Old Vegas Legends. Number 5. The Strat, the mirage of bargains. Every trap needs bait, and at the Strat, the bait is a room rate so low it almost seems like a typo. Nora, you are scrolling through booking sites on a Tuesday night, cup of coffee going cold on the nightstand, and suddenly, there it is. $49 a night in Las Vegas. You blink. You refresh the page. Still 49. You think, I am not stupid. There has to be a catch. And you are right. There is a catch. In fact, the catch costs more than the room. The Strat hits you with a mandatory resort fee of $49.95 per night. I want you to sit with that for a second. The fee is higher than the advertised room rate. Once you add Nevada tax on top of that fee, you are looking at north of $110 a night for a hotel that is located, and I say this with love, at the far end of nowhere. The Strat sits at the very top of Las Vegas Boulevard, always about as far from the center of the action as you can get while still technically being on the strip. And that distance is not free either. Want to get to the Bellagio for dinner? That is a $15 to $25 ride share each way. Going to a show at the T-Mobile Arena? And another $20. Do that twice a day for 4 days, and you have spent an extra $160 just moving around a city you already paid to be in. The bargain did not just disappear, it actually flipped. You are now paying more than you would have at a mid-strip property that did not require a transportation budget just to leave the lobby. Now, I will give the Strat this. The view from the top of that tower is genuinely spectacular. I am not going to pretend it is not. But spectacular views do not justify a pricing structure built entirely on misdirection. When the fee exceeds the rate, that is not hospitality. That is a magic trick. And this crowd is old enough to know how the trick works. The Strat earns its place at number 5, not because it is the worst offender on this list. It is not. But it represents the foundational sin of modern Las Vegas. The fake low price designed to get you through the door before the real bill introduces itself. Number 4. Excalibur, the castle that forgot its kingdom. Let me paint you a picture of 1990. The Excalibur opens its drawbridge for the very first time, and Las Vegas collectively loses its mind. A medieval castle, right there on the corner of Tropicana and the Boulevard. Towers, turrets, a moat, jousting tournaments at dinner. It was ridiculous, and it was glorious, and it was exactly the kind of fever dream that only Las Vegas could pull off with a straight face. Fast forward to today, and that castle is still standing, technically. But if you book a room there in 2025, what you are actually paying for is a monument to neglect, wrapped in a costume that has not been dry cleaned since the Clinton administration. Here's the thing about Excalibur that MGM Resorts does not advertise on their homepage. The capital investment in this property, meaning the real money spent on actual renovations, has been hovering somewhere between minimal and invisible for years. The furniture in the towers looks like it was selected in 1990 and never questioned. The bathroom fixtures have yellowed. The carpets carry the biographical details of every guest who walked on them since the Bush administration. The first one. Guests in recent reviews, and I read through dozens of them for this video, report elevators that are either out of service, running at the speed of a tired donkey, or so overcrowded that waiting 3 cycles just to go up to your floor is a normal Tuesday. One reviewer described the experience of getting to her room as a pilgrimage, and not the spiritual kind. But here is why Excalibur makes this list beyond the physical decay. It is the pricing dishonesty. MGM keeps the base room rate artificially low, sometimes under $50, to attract budget travelers and families who have not done their homework. Get them through the door, then layer on resort fees, parking charges, Oh, and a food and beverage operation priced for a property 3 times better than the one you are actually standing in. You are paying Marriott money for a decaying theme park hotel that stopped trying somewhere around 2007. MGM knows what they are doing here. Excalibur is not being saved, it is being milked. The real value of this property is the dirt it is sitting on. Prime real estate at one of the most trafficked corners in the world. The day the maintenance costs finally outrun the cash it generates, that fake castle comes down. Until then, they are perfectly happy to let you fund the wait. Book Excalibur and you are not a guest, you are a placeholder. Number 3. Circus Circus, the clown. Has left the building. I need to take a breath before this one, because Circus Circus genuinely hurts to talk about. Yeah, for millions of Americans who made their first trip to Las Vegas in the 1970s or 1980s, Circus Circus was the dream. It was loud, it was colorful, it had actual circus acts performing above the casino floor. And most importantly, it was affordable in a way that made Las Vegas feel like it belonged to everyone. Not just the high rollers, not just the suits, everyone. The working class family from Ohio, and the retired postal worker from Tennessee, the couple celebrating their 25th anniversary on a careful budget. Circus Circus was their Las Vegas too. That version of Circus Circus is gone, and what replaced it is, I am going to choose my words carefully here, a slumlord operation wearing a clown suit. Since billionaire Phil Ruffin acquired the property, the management philosophy has been stripped down to its ugliest possible form. Spend nothing. Extract everything. The reviews coming out of this place in 2024 and 2025 read less like hotel feedback and more like incident reports. Guests describe hallways smelling of mildew and marijuana in a combination I can only imagine is unique to this property. There are documented, repeated reports of roof leaks addressed not with repairs, but with buckets placed strategically on the floor, air conditioning units that rattle through the night like a car engine that has given up on life, and carpets that I will simply describe as biological question marks. But the physical decay, as bad as it is not the part of this story that keeps me up at night. The security situation at Circus Circus in recent years is what crosses the line from negligent to genuinely dangerous. We are talking about documented reports of theft, altercations, and a pervasive atmosphere after dark that multiple guests and locals have described using the same word, lawless. When a hotel cuts its security staffing to save a few dollars on hourly wages, it is not just trimming a budget line. It is making a calculated decision that your safety is worth less than the cost of another guard on the floor. Think about that. They ran the numbers and your safety lost. Ruffin is running this property like a car he plans to drive until the wheels physically detach from the axle. He is betting on the land value, or he is betting that eventually the real estate becomes too valuable to ignore, and the whole thing gets bulldozed for a shiny new luxury complex. Until that day arrives, he is content to let guests fund the wait. $119 of mildew and buckets on the floor at a time. This used to be where we brought our children. Now it is the property other Las Vegas hotels use as a punchline. That is not funny. That is a tragedy. Number 2. Horseshoe. A bad bet in disguise. Here is the pitch that gets people every time. Center Strip location, right next door to the Bellagio. Room rates around $79 a night. You think, I have cracked the code. I found the smart person's Vegas hotel. You have not. You have found the setup for a joke, and you are the punchline, the Horseshoe. Was rebranded from Bally's a few years back under Caesars Entertainment, hits you with a resort fee of $49.95 per night. Add Nevada tax, and that fee alone lands at nearly $57. Your $79 room is now a $136 room before you have touched a single slot machine or eaten a single overpriced meal. That is a 72% markup on the advertised price. I want you to think about how that would go over in any other industry. Imagine ordering a $79 steak at a restaurant and getting a bill for $136. You would never go back, but the fee is almost secondary to the experience waiting for you once you arrive. I spoke with a man I will call Robert. I am a retired engineer from Michigan who booked the Horseshoe last spring, thinking he had found the smart play. He told me he arrived after a 5-hour flight, exhausted, ready to check in, and found himself standing in front of a row of self-service kiosks with one employee managing what looked like 20 confused people. He waited 40 minutes because the machine kept freezing. 40 minutes. On a vacation he had been planning for 3 months. He told me, I looked at my bill later and saw that $50 resort fee, and I thought, I paid a premium fee to stand in line and do the receptionist job myself. I talked to a front desk veteran who has worked on the Strip for over 15 years, and he told me something that stayed with me. He said 10 years ago that fee meant something. Full staff, real concierge service. Asked someone to help with your bags, newspaper at your door. Today they keep raising the fee and cutting the staff in the same motion. The guests are paying more to get less, and they are doing the work themselves on top of it. And what does the Horseshoe say you were paying for with that $50? I pulled it from their website. Ready? Unlimited local and toll-free calls. I will just let that sit there for a moment. We are in 2025. Every human being over the age of 8 has a cell phone. Charging someone $50 a day, partially on the basis that they can make a local call from the room telephone, is not a service. It is an insult delivered with a smile. The Horseshoe lures you in with its location and its reasonable-looking sticker price. Thus, what you get is motel-level service at a resort fee that would embarrass a 4-star property. Do not fall for it. Number 1. Harrah's. The saddest betrayal on the Strip. I saved Harrah's for last because of all the properties on this list. This one is personal. Not personal to me specifically, but personal to an entire generation of Americans who made Harrah's their Las Vegas. For decades, the Harrah's was the honest hotel. Not the flashiest, not the most glamorous. It was never trying to compete with the Bellagio, and it knew it. What it offered instead was something rarer and more valuable. Fairness, reasonable prices, clean rooms, staff who treated you like a neighbor rather than a transaction. It was the blue-collar heart of the Las Vegas Strip. And for millions of working Americans, retirees, veterans, boys, and middle-class families who had no business paying win prices, it was their place. That place no longer exists. What stands there today wearing the Harrah's name is something else entirely. It is a corporate extraction engine operating under a brand built on goodwill. It is no longer earning. Under Caesars Entertainment's ownership, the math is laid out in front of you if you know where to look. Caesars poured $500 million into renovating the Horseshoe and upgrading Caesars Palace between 2024 and 2025. Meanwhile, Harrah's received what industry insiders have described as bare minimum maintenance. The role Harrah's plays in Caesars' portfolio is brutally clear. It is an aging cash cow being milked to service corporate debt, not nurtured, not invested in, milked. Walk the property today and you feel that decision in your bones. The smoke embedded in the fabrics is not last weekend's smoke. It is years of accumulated neglect dressed up with air freshener. The carpets are worn to their threads in the high traffic areas. The ventilation system operates somewhere between inadequate and defeated. And yet the room rates are climbing 10 to 15% annually, chasing a luxury tier this property has no business occupying. The resort fees here run $25 to $35 a day. The breakfast buffet, if you can believe this, has crept up to $40. The mini fridge surcharge will cost you extra just to keep your own water cold. These numbers are not Harrah's numbers. They are Caesars Palace numbers stapled onto a property that is offering none of the Caesars Palace experience. What makes this the number 1 entry on this list is not just the gap between price and quality. It is who is being hurt. The people Caesars is squeezing at Harrah's are not wealthy tourists who booked on impulse. They are the long-time loyalists, the retirees who have been coming here for 20 years, the veterans on fixed incomes who budgeted carefully for this trip, the couples who cannot afford the Bellagio but deserve better than a mildew-scented room at luxury prices. According to trend data from the Nevada Gaming Control Board, this exact demographic in Harrah's most loyal base is slowly walking away, not to better Strip hotels they cannot afford, to properties like Circus Circus, which, as we discussed earlier, is its own disaster. When Harrah's regulars are downgrading to Circus Circus just to save money, that tells you everything about how far this property has fallen. There are 2 futures for Harrah's, and neither of them is the hotel we once loved. Either Caesars sells it off to service debt, or they gut it entirely, strip out the gaming floor, and rebrand it as a non-gaming hotel to slash operational costs. Both scenarios mean the same thing for the people who gave this place 30 years of loyalty. You are being shown the door. The Harrah we grew up with was built on a handshake and a square deal. What replaced it is a ledger entry. And that, to me, is the saddest sentence I have written on this channel. So, there they are. 5 hotels, 5 versions of the same broken promise. The Strat, where the fee costs more than the room. Excalibur, where they are waiting for your dollars while they wait for the wrecking ball. Circus Circus, a scene where the safety of the guests became a budget line. The Horseshoe, charging resort prices for kiosk service. And Harrah's, the most personal betrayal of them all, turning its back on the very people who built its reputation. Here is what I want you to remember when you're planning your next trip. Your booking is a vote. Every dollar you spend at a property that has decided you are not worth respecting is a vote telling them that strategy works. Stop voting for it. There are properties in this city, both on and off the strip, that still remember what hospitality means. We are going to keep finding them for you right here on Old Vegas Legends. If this video saved you from a bad booking, share it with someone who is planning a Vegas trip right now. They will thank you later. And drop your own hotel horror story in the comments. Because I promise you, we are all comparing notes down there. Until next time, watch your wallet. And remember, the house always has an edge, but they are not supposed to have your dignity too.